In this Matplotlib Python tutorial, you will learn 5 must-know charts that every Python beginner should be using. Let's import the Matplotlib first, matplotlib.pyplot, and I will import this as PLT. First chart is regular line chart. Let's say I have months January, February, March, April, May, and June. And in each of these months, I know the sales of my products. So let's say in January, I sold 120 products. In February, 150, then 170, then 160, then 210, and 250. Now, let's plot the figure. So I'll create plt.figure and say fig size should be 8 and 5. To create a regular line chart, you need to write plt.plot and then months, that will be the x-axis, then sales, this is going to be my y-axis. I will come to this later to show you other parameters, but let's format our chart. plt.title, monthly sales, and also let's write plt.xlabel, and here, for example, write month, and put font size to be 12. Let's also put here font size to be 16. Let's also write the Y label, for example, sales, and font size also to be 12. Then let's write, for example, grid. I'll write true to turn it on, and I can also specify axis, and if I here write Y, grid will only exist in the Y axis. Also, I can write line style here, and let's say I want dashed. And alpha, I don't want to be solid, I want some transparency, so I'll write here 0.4. Let's also write the legend, and then write plt.tight layout, so nothing overlaps. And in the end, if I want to show everything, I need to write plt.show. Here, after y-axis, comes your format. For example, your marker could be 0, X, or triangle. I'll put triangles. Then, what type of line style you want? Do you want a dashed line style, dot line style, combined line style, or solid line style? I'll write dashed line style. Then you can choose the color. Color, let's be royal blue. Also, you can choose the line width. In my case, I'll write 3. You can also write marker size. I'll put it to be 9. Also, I can write marker face color. This means how you will fill your marker. And let's say I want black. You can also specify the edge of your marker. So marker edge width, and put it to. Also, you can write some transparency, let's say 0.9. And also I can write label, for example, sales trend. And this is it. Let's run the code to see how our plot looks like. As you can see, we have the legend here. Also, the x-axis is month, the y-axis are sales. Here we have line that is dashed, and here is the marker for every coordinate that I put. It's triangle filled with black, and the grid only exists on y-axis. Second chart type I want to show you is bar chart. Here are some x values, y values, and some errors, and this is the same as before. I only changed the label names. So, if you want to draw bars, you need to write plt.bar, and here first goes x-axis, so in our case, languages, then y-axis, students, and then you can specify the width of your bars. For example, in my case, I'll write 0.6. Then you can write the color. Color could be the same for every bar, but it could also be unique for every bar. So you can write a list of colors. For example, gold, then orange, then sky blue. Let's also put light green and salmon color. Because bars are some objects, you can also put edge colors. So edge color, and I'll put to be black. For your edge, you can also specify the width. So I'll write line width and put it to 1.5. And now comes these errors. This error means what is the mistake of my y-axis, which means if I have 50 and error 3, the range that has the correct value is 47 until 53. In this case, 15 and 1, the range that has correct value is 14 until 16. For that, you can write y and here error, y error. You can also specify x error, but in this case, I will only specify y error to be errors. Of course, you can also specify the color of your error. In my case, color, error color, I want to be black. Then you can write your cap size. You will see what cap size is in a moment. And lastly, I can also add label, students. Let's run the code to see how our chart looks like now. As you can see, I have 5 bars. Every bar has a different color, and this is the error that represents where is the actual correct value. Cap size is this line here. So these lines here are actually cap size. Let me show you what happens if I remove that cap size. Let's run the code again. I only see these lines without these cap sizes. Pretty cool, right? Next chart type I want to show you is scatter. Scatter means only put dots and the coordinates of your actual values. So, unlike before, I want to store this scatter in a variable. So right here, scatter to be plt.scatter. And I will open the parentheses and write the parameters here. You will see why. First, I have study hours. Also, these study hours and scores, this is the x value, this is the y value. These sizes and colors, these sizes is the list of sizes for my dots, and colors is the color for each dot. And this part here is completely the same as before. So, students, study hours, scores, and then S represents sizes. Also, the size can be the same size for each. I can simply write 3 here. But if you want a different size for each dot, you can write sizes, this list. The same applies for colors. I can write C equals colors. And I can specify the marker. I can write marker, and then here, now let's put a circle to be a marker. But these colors are only numbers, and I didn't specify what kind of palette I want to use. For example, if I have numbers, Python won't know what color that is. I could also have written here red, green, and blue, and this would work completely fine. But if you want to specify numbers and a different palette, you need to write these C colors and also color map. There are various colors maps, but I will use Inferno color map. Then I will also put some transparency, alpha equals 0.8, and I'll also put line width to be 0.5, and edge color to be black. And if I run this, this will work, but I want to show you how you can also write a color bar using this scatter. So here I can write plt.color bar, pass your scatter. That is why I stored this scatter graph in my scatter variable, and write here label equals color label, scale. Let's run the code to see how this chart looks like. And here we have different dots with different sizes and colors. On the right, I have a color scale that tells me the value of each color. So scatter is simply for putting your dots and coordinates on your graph. Fourth chart type I want to show you is histogram type, a very popular one. If you want to write your histogram chart, you need to call plt.histogram, hist function, and here pass exam scores as your x-axis. And here, if I write beans to be 6, this means I want to create only 6 beans or 6 bars. And if I write range, this range will force my Python to look only at the range that I specify. And if I write here 50 and 100, this means only look numbers from 50 and 100. The ones that are smaller than 50 and greater than 100, remove them. What histogram does, it tells you how many of these x values are inside your bean. So the bean width will actually be equal across all beans. So if I have this width here, which is 50, 100 minus 50 divided by 6 is around 8.333. So first bin will have values from 50 until 58.3333. The second bin will have values from 58.333 until 66.666, and etc. And this tells you how many x values are inside this bin, and so on. And if you write here density equals true, this will tell you the percentage of your total x values that are inside a certain bin. But if you write false, this will only tell you the number of x values that are inside a certain bin. Let's put it to false. Also, you can write a cumulative parameter to be true, which means add the previous ones to the current one. But if I write here false, this will only display the number of x values that are inside the current bin. And you can also write histogram type, for example, to be bar, step, or whatever. I will use bar. You can specify the alignment. In my case, I'll write mid. Then the radius width, I'll put it to 0.9. You can also specify the color of your bin. Let's put something interesting, medium purple. Also, you can specify the edge color, of course. Let's put edge color to be black. Let's put some transparency on the colors. Let's put it to be 0.8 here. And let's write labels to be, for example, scores. Let's run the code to see how this histogram looks like. I made a mistake. Here should be a label parameter. And here is our histogram graph. We have 6 bins, as I have told you. And as you can see, the first bin starts from around 50 and goes until almost 60. Then this one from almost 60 to almost 70, and so on. And this number here, 1, 3, 4, tells how many of your x values are inside that range here. We have 1 in this range, 3 in this, 3 in this, 4 in this, 3 in this, and 2 in this range here. But let me show you what happens if I put this density to be true. You will now see the percentage. The maximum value will be 1, but all of them will have some values from 0 until 1. As you can see, we have 0.075 chance to be inside this bin, 0.022.5 to be in this and this bin, and 0.03 to be inside this bin. And when you add all of these chances, they add up to be 1. Also, let's put this cumulative parameter to be true. I'll put this here to be false again. And let's put this histogram type to be step. Now when I run this, I should actually see a staircase. As you can see, we have a staircase. Why? Because it tells we have here 1, and from here to here we have 3, but we add the previous one, which is 1. 1 plus 3 is 4, and so on. And that's why we have a staircase here. And let me show you also what happens if you remove this width. And here I put bar. Let's run the code now. As you can see, now we have the exact width of the bin. The previous one ensured that not all the bins are put together, like they are glued. But here, they're all glued together. The last chart type I want to show you is pie. So to write your pie graph, you need to write plt.pie function. And here you need to pass your parameters. First is your sizes. So these are the actual values. And here is the label for each of these sizes. Also here you will see what this explode means in a moment. After sizes, I will write explode to be explode. Later you will see what that explode is. Then labels should be equal to labels. Labels correspond to what each of these number means. It means that 45% of programmers use Python, 25% of programmers use JavaScript, etc. Also, we can specify the color for each of these labels. So I can write colors equal, and now again, you can put a simple one color, but I'll put a different color for each. Let's put gold again, then light green, also sky blue, and salmon color. And now comes the formatting. So I'll write here auto PCT, which is auto percentage. What you need to write here is write %, which means you want to format your string. Then write dot, and 1F. This means round to only one decimal. If I put 2, this will round to 2 decimals. And if you want to write your actual percentage, you can't write percent, you need to write percent to know that this next percent is just a regular percent, not a special character. But if you want to write dollars, for example, you can simply write a dollar here because dollar is not a special character. So write percent. Then you can write percent radius, percent distance, and this tells in what percentage of your radius you want your numbers to be, these sizes here that you see. If you write 0.75, this means that you want your sizes to be displayed on a 75% from your radius. So if your radius was 4, you want your distance to be 3 from the center, okay? So the smaller this number, the closer your sizes will be to your center. Also, I can write label distance. The same applies here. If I write 0.5, this means this will be just outside your pie. Also, you can add shadow. Let's put true. Also, starting angle. Let's put 90 degrees. I will show you what that means. And let's put our radius to be 1.1. And counterclockwise, I want it to be true. Also, I'll put here W edge properties, props, parameter, and pass a dictionary that tells edge color. I want edge color to be black, and I want line width to be 1.5. And I'll also write text properties. So text props should be, again, a dictionary. I'll pass font size, and here put 12 for font size, and also add color, and put color to be black. Let's run the code to see how this chart looks like. The name of my light green is not correct. Light green. This should work now. And as you can see, every single one of these pie parts has a shadow and a different color and has its values, and they are rounded up to 2 decimals. And all of these labels are outside the pie. But you see this first one is not attached to these 3. And that is exactly what this explode does here. So you see that all of the 3 explodes are 0, only the first one has some value. If I remove this and put it to be 0 as everyone else and run the code, now this one is also attached to the rest of the 3. And let's also put this distance to be, for example, 0.5, so you can see that now all of these size values will be closer to the center. And let's remove this shadow, false, and starting angle means from where you should put your first value. And counterclockwise means after you've put your first value, where should you put your next one? Should it be on the left or on the right side from your starting one? Because I put counterclockwise, the first one is Python, then the left to the Python is JavaScript, C++, and then Java. But if I put here 180, you will see that now this Python will be on the bottom. Let's run the code. As I have told you, Python is on the bottom, and all of these labels are closer to the center. If I put here false, now Python will be on the top. As you can see, now Python is on the top. Now you know these 5 essential Matplotlib charts you can start using right away. If you want to go deeper into Matplotlib and learn even more practical Python skills, check out my full Matplotlib video on screen right now. And subscribe so you don't miss the next Python tutorial.